So, hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our second session for today with Dr. Preeti Shroff, Professor and Dean of the Mudra Institute of Communications, Ahmedabad, School of Ideas, and Head of the Management and Executive Development Program. Dr. Preeti Shroff has over 25 years of international development and management experience in democratic governance, public and private sector change management, leadership, institutional governance, reform, and capacity development. Currently, she is leading MICA School of Ideas, Ahmedabad, India, as the Dean and the Head of Management and Executive Development Program. She facilitates global academic, government, corporate partnerships, and MICA research studies on global governance, women's leadership, and place branding. She has worked and consulted with USAID, UNDP, World Bank, Ford Foundation, Social and Health Ministry of Government of Finland, Canadian Ministry for Economic Development, Government of India, as well as leading various corporate management learning programs. Dr. Preeti Shroff has won numerous awards, including the Commonwealth Scholarship for Graduate Studies at Sussex University, England. Her topic for today's session is the creative DNA. Welcome, Preeti ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you amongst us this morning, and over to you now.
Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to wish everyone a great academic year ahead, but also a very safe and healthy year. I'm sure all the students are participating from all over India, so I wish well for your families as well. I have chosen the topic creativity DNA because I really like your campaign. I was asking you earlier that it's a very interesting orientation program caption you have given. At MICA, we say my impact, my design, my identity. You have said your identity. And everything you do in terms of your learning always begins with who you are. How are you defining yourself? How do you engage with others? How do you work in teams? How do you manage projects? How do you work with city? And how do you work ultimately for India as a nation? And how do you contribute to the world? So, in everything I said, it's all about you. So, in this session, I wanted to begin with what Gandhiji said, that he talked about non-violence, and he always said that non-violence is not something that you read in books, it's how you practice your life. How in every communication you make sure that you are non-violent, you are peaceful, the other person feels more peaceful. And he said, it's a very famous quote by Gandhiji, that my life is my message. So, creativity is not something that you just read in books. Of course, you get ideas when you read more. So, please read. You should read whatever your faculty and professors give you. But creativity is something you practice in every day. So, let's start with creativity DNA. How do you make creativity part of yourself? You breathe creativity every morning you wake up. You think creatively, you address issues creatively rather than getting very bogged down by them. I read once that creative people love chaos, they love complexities because that's part of life. Life is never perfect, right? Life is, we would like it to be perfect, but it never is. So then, how about if we look at everything saying, oh, this is a great chance for me to be creative and a creative problem solver, right? So let's look at how do you begin with self in terms of creativity as your own DNA. Can we have the first slide, please? So see, as they upload the slide, yes, thank you so much for the first slide. Can we go to the next one, please? So read this carefully. That creativity and design, it's not just about making things look appealing, beautiful, also not just about usability and functionality, which is very important, or just delight. It is about taking what you are making, whether you are a fashion designer like our Dr. Suri here, the professor, or you are an artist, or you are a politician and trying to solve creative problems for your constituency and people, or you are a professor trying to create a very interesting curriculum, or a student trying to work on a project. It should be usable, it should be delightful, and more than that, creativity should lead to meaningful actions and meaningful impact. And I'll give you two examples. When we had Swachh Bharat movement, the Prime Minister of India, PM Modi, had announced that we should focus on cleanliness in India in terms of our streets, our homes. There was a group of designers who were participating in building toilets in slum communities in different states, Gujarat, Rajasthan. Now you can just create structures, right? And assume that people will use it. While these people thought about what if we look at our ancient art and put it on those toilets? What if we ask children what would they like to draw on those structures? What if we involve women, because these were Kutchi and Rajasthani women who do beautiful embroidery, that would you design your embroidery? Can we put that so that they connect better with the structures? So that it's not just toilets for usage, but you also connect with it. So the first principle of creativity and design is it should bring meaning to people. Then people will connect with it. Another example I'll give you is Amazon. We all use Amazon products. We order that, right? Now, they use these big trucks for delivery all over the world, and it's creating a lot of pollution. It uses a lot of gas, which is not sustainable. It creates pollution, CO2 emissions in the environment, and your generation should be very thoughtful and very creative about how do we make our planet more livable, our nature more sustainable and beautiful, so that our children can also enjoy nature rather than destroying it. So now in India, Amazon is going to introduce electric rickshaws, and their delivery will be in electric rickshaws so that they can go to rural areas, they can go to smaller streets. So it's the functionality aspect of design and creativity. The use of electric vehicles is environmentally friendly principles, correct? And then keeping in mind that rural areas and villages might not have functional roads, so smaller electric rickshaws will work much better. So then it's thinking about the customer, your consumer, who is the user. So anything you design and the way you think about it, start with what is the need for the user. So if the user is in a rural area, if Amazon wants to reach them and take a package, they will need smaller rickshaws or smaller vehicles, because big trucks cannot go and they are not also sustainable. Then they are increasingly engaging Indian artisans to create packaging, because currently the cardboard boxes that all of us use, currently Amazon is creating $1 million worth wastage just in the cardboard boxes, because we can't reuse them. We should. If we were clever, we will somehow figure out a way not to throw those cardboard boxes out. So what if we ask artisan women to create beautiful handbags, and you will receive your books and your products in beautiful handbags that you can use for getting vegetables, you can use it for your computers. So that is the reusable design, right? And this is what we call circular economy. See, in current economy, we purchase something, we use it, and we throw it. Now, that's not the right or meaningful design. When we purchase something, we should reuse it. We should repurpose it so that the same product can have multiple usage. So these are the example of meaningful design that connects with people across cultures and across communities. Can we go to the next slide, please? So, how do you become creative? If I asked you what city you are from, what state you are from, can we say that somebody from Bihar is more creative than somebody from Gujarat? or somebody who is from Karnataka is more creative than somebody from Punjab? No, we can't, because the beauty of creativity is anyone and everyone can have that. It's not about only some people can have it. And also, creativity, more you use, more creative you become. So, this is the only beautiful asset that more you use, more it grows on you. So, what a beautiful gift, right? So look at these various personalities and personas. You could be somebody who loves to just read books and study, and you can be creative in the way you will write your projects. You might write a creative book. You could be a refugee from place to place, going from one place to the other. Then you become a visual creative person because you see so much in your life, because you're out there in the field, as we say. You could be somebody who is just focused on intelligence and studying and academics, and you might get bored quickly. So then you look for creative stuff. You could be a student international who might know the language. So that person will invest so much effort in understanding culture that that person will probably know more than others because of the language constraint. And finally, you could be a mid career, middle aged woman, a single mother, and you will be more creative than anyone else because you have to do multitasking. So, creativity just doesn't come from one book, it just doesn't come from one person. All of you have the potential to become creative and make creativity your DNA, the way you live your life. Can we go to the next slide, please? So, very important to keep in mind that creativity always needs a vision, something that you believe in. So, in your life, what is it that you want to do? You have a beautiful gift of life, and you are very fortunate to have good education, you are at a good institute. So, you have to have a vision, and that vision will help you develop your creativity, what we call creative intelligence. So, that is one form of intelligence. Now, just having or learning creativity is not enough. With that vision driven intelligence, you will have to have very concrete analytical skills and very concrete subject specific skills. So if you're a fashion designer, you'll have to understand fashion industry. Just by being creative, you won't be successful. If you are an engineer, then you'll have to understand engineering and math and all aspects of engineering, what we call analytical and scientific intelligence, which comes from different subject specific learning and your goal that you will achieve through your education. So you always need vision and goal that combines creative and analytical intelligence. Then with that, what is very, very important is that you know how to implement your vision and your goals. You could be a great designer, but then how do you set up your startup? How do you work in a firm? How do you get investment? How do you get funding that you will require? How will you acquire different clients, right? So that is called operational intelligence. So while you are at the university, please take courses in finance, in management, in enterprise development, in entrepreneurship. Study as much as you can in your subject areas, but also with other departments so that you learn different kinds of operational intelligence. And finally, all of this will not work unless you understand how to relate to other people. If you don't respect diversity, if you don't understand people from different states, how do they define their identity, what are their food preferences, what kind of customs and traditions they have, if you don't understand that, you won't be able to connect with people, especially in India, because each state is different. Our languages are different, our backgrounds are different. We have different religious background, cultural background, we speak different languages. So don't assume that you know somebody. You have to make an effort, and then you have to invest in that relationship. You know, somebody once told me that how do we build peace in the world? Because we all want peace. We don't want wars and conflict and fighting. That's not what brings joy. So how do we build peace? In India, we have 1.3 billion people. How do you create peace? You create peace by connecting with someone sitting next to you. You create peace by connecting with family and your parents. You create peace by working well with your faculty. You create peace by creating beautiful relationship on campus. So peace begins with self and the people that you connect with. So that is called relational intelligence. And in today's world, whatever work that you do after you graduate, you will have to work with people from very different parts of India. People from urban India, rural India, men, women, people of different age groups. So you have to develop this relational intelligence and see how would you make a project successful when you have to work with very different kinds of people. So your creativity by just itself is not sufficient unless you develop this what we call multiple intelligence. And I'm sure the curriculum at your university will help you develop all four aspects what we call the left brain and right brain. And at MICA, we always say that MICA is at the intersection of left and right brain learning. So we teach students analytics, business, management, but we also teach them emotional intelligence, culture, community, compassion, so that whatever they do will have meaning and it will bring meaning to other people. So I think at the heart of design and creativity is your ability to take your creative ideas to help society and help other people so that we can have impact because of our creativity. Can we go to the next slide, please? So look at this well-known inventors and geniuses. And I'm sorry, we should have put some women here, whoever prepared slide in my office. But these are great examples. Do you think Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos, they were born creative and that's why they are doing what they are doing? Think for a minute. What made them such creative thinkers that they have invented things that are changing the world? So, the other message I want to give you is creativity impacts the world. It's not just about doing a project. You can actually come up with something that will change the world. You can create something that will be useful to so many people around the world. So don't limit your creativity just for local level or smaller level. Always think of scaling up and always think of how can I impact the world. You should have that confidence. Can we go to the next slide, please? So a study has shown, and the study is on what makes someone creative and innovative. So essentially, it's only about 30% genetic abilities that people have when they are born and they can be creative, because some people are born with stronger right brain and they can be creative, and some people are stronger in their left brain development. But more than 70% of your growth and development will come because of your hard work, the way you learn creativity, the way you practice creativity. You can't become creative overnight. It's a pursuit, it's a sadhana. You know, we say in India that you have to have a prayer, a sadhana, and then you have to work for it. So it's hard work. Creativity is not easy because especially creative people think differently. So world doesn't understand them, and it's okay. If people say I don't understand you, we should say, oh, that's a compliment to me. That means I have to work harder to make you understand. So never ever feel discouraged if sometimes you feel कि मुझे तो कोई समझ ही नहीं रहा है, ये क्यों है, मैं अलग क्यों हूँ. That's a great thing if you are different from others, because each one of you is a very special person and you are very different from each other. So keep in mind, creativity is hard work. Creativity is daily persistence. Creativity is continuous seeking of different kinds of intelligence, especially by relating to people and places. So I know you will learn in the classroom, but also go out, do projects in Ahmedabad city, do projects on your campus, collaborate with faculty and other students, go out to villages, go out to different communities, travel as much as you can, because all of these different experiences will bring very deep creativity and your ability to solve problems in a very thoughtful way. Can we go to the next slide, please? So this is a Harvard article recently came out that what makes creative people and innovators very different from other people. So I'll read out to you because I want you to understand these 5 principles. So what makes innovators very different? One, they are different in the way they associate with life, the way they associate with their education institutions, the way they associate with their faculty, the way they associate with friends, with their employees, and with project partners. The more diverse our experiences and knowledge, the more connections the brain can make. So, if you live with the same kind of people, if you don't meet with people from different backgrounds, your brain will not be challenged. So don't get comfortable with just a limited number of friends who speak the same language, who are from the same state. Make an effort to go and meet with people who are very different than you. Travel to places that are very different than your state. Go out to villages because they are very different than what you see in the city. So, more differences you see, better connections your brain can make because you are exercising your brain. And this will lead to new ideas because more world you see, more new ideas you will have. And as Steve Jobs has observed, creativity is about connecting things. So how do you look at different ideas and how do you connect them? I'll give you an example. At MICA, we have just launched a new initiative called Connect the Dots. So there our business management students, every term, they will learn different subjects. At the end of the term, they'll have to appear in front of an industry jury who will give them a real life situation. And students will have to then apply everything they are learning across all subjects to solve that real life situation that an industry person is facing. So that students learn to apply their knowledge by connecting dots. Because in real life, you don't say today is the day for finance, tomorrow is the day for anthropology, third day will be day for fashion. Everything is interconnected. Finance, budgets, community, people, fashion project, art project, engineering project. You're building a road, you will have to think so much about where does the road go through, who are the people who will be affected, what should be the design, what is the design in England or in America of a similar road, right? So this is called connecting the dots. More widely you think and you connect those dots, your design will be more intelligent and more useful to people. And that's what Steve Jobs was trying to point out. Second, creative people never just sit and listen. They ask questions. How do you know, Preeti ma'am, that creativity is this? Can you tell us your experiences? Ask question. Never ever sit and listen. If I say, why are you doing this? Your answer should be, why not? Why can't I do it? Because I think it will bring meaning. So always ask questions and always believe in yourself and what is it that you would like to do with passion. And don't be afraid of constraints. Third, innovators and creative people observe things very carefully. They look at people, they observe how people are interacting, they look at what books are people reading, what is in the library. They go out on campus and they observe what is happening, what festivals, what activities. They go out and see the communities, different families, they follow politics. So creative people are very observant and very thoughtful. Then they also experiment a lot because creative people don't just sit and say, give me the answer. They themselves go out and they try different experiments, and sometimes you will fail, sometimes you will succeed. That is okay. Do not worry if you don't succeed all the times, because when we fail, we learn more. Then we know what works, what doesn't. So my one request to you is never be afraid. Don't get worried if you don't get very good grades in the beginning. It's okay. Keep trying and keep working. And finally, keep networking. In today's world, you can learn not just from classrooms, you can learn from different people. You can learn from people who visit your campus. You can learn from industry. You can learn from professors in other departments. You can learn from students who will come from all over the world. So keep networking continuously. That is your greatest asset that a university can give you, which is a new network of people that you didn't have before, and maintain those relationships for your lifetime. So that brings me to another important aspect of creative people. They are lifelong learners. They never say, "Oh, I attended 3 class, I got A grade, so I am the expert." They are never satisfied. They keep learning. Can we go to the next slide, please? So, lifelong learning is a beautiful thing because anywhere you go, you will never see a problem. You will always say, "Huh, that's part of life. A problem is something I have to solve, and I might solve it well, I might not. It's an experience. Life is an experience." And keep learning from those lifelong experiences, and you will never ever feel afraid. Advantage of lifelong learning is it can be voluntary. Nobody forces us and says attend classes for lifelong learning every morning, get A grade, B grade. It's life. Life is a book. Keep reading it. It teaches you different chapters, will teach you different lessons. It doesn't cost money to have lifelong learning. There are no limits to it. So continue to learn. It's often informal. Lifelong learning doesn't come in terms of 3 classes a day, 2 hours in the evening, 1 hour in the morning. It happens all the time, and that's why lifelong learning is informal learning. You will learn from your families and situations in the family. You will learn from your professors. You will learn from your relationships in life. And it's okay if something works and some doesn't work. These are all accumulated experiences. And what is important is how do you manage those experiences? That's where the intelligence comes in and how much effort you put in. So always be lifelong learner and continue to learn from anyone and everyone that you will meet rather than judging people. Because if you judge people, you will stop learning from them. But if you value people, if you value differences, you will learn and say, "I want to know how you cook this in your state. I want to learn music from your state. I want to understand your language. I am a Gujarati. I want to know how Bengali language is. I want to know what Odia culture is. What are celebrations that happen in Odia culture and community," right? So continue to be a lifelong learner and don't stop by saying, "I college खत्म कर लिया, मेरी पढ़ाई खत्म हो गई." पढ़ाई कभी खत्म नहीं होती है. पढ़ाई हमेशा सबके लिए. It continues and keep learning. Next slide, please. So here is how creative people adapt to lifelong learning. First, you have to begin with self. You must be clear about what are your own personal goals and interests in life. Don't follow others. Don't chase others. Learn from others. That's fine. But don't try to become someone else. You are a unique person. Be yourself. Next, make a list of what is it that you would like to do and then plan how you will achieve them. Then identify how you would like to get involved and what resources will be needed to achieve your goals. Because without resources, you can't achieve your goals. I always tell students at MICA that you might have a beautiful marketing campaign for a digital company and you might create a digital campaign. But what if the CEO says, "But we don't have funds for the kind of campaign you want"? Then what? Even if you had the best idea, you can't implement because you don't have resources. So always think of what is my budget, what resources I have. Then your design and your creativity can become real. And if the budget is less, then change your idea, adapt your idea. So always be flexible. Then make sure that whatever you are working on, you work with passion. So creativity is not 9 to 5. It doesn't come at 9 o'clock in the morning and leave at 5 o'clock. Design is part of life. You will continue to think about your project day and night. And that is sadhana that you will need in creativity and design. And finally, make a commitment. See, if we are not honest, if we are not committed, then we can't achieve anything. And if you are not committed as a team leader, if a professor is not committed to teaching, students will see those classes will not be meaningful. If you are not committed in learning, professor will see that you are not involved in learning. So if you really want to succeed in your education, make a commitment. Your parents have invested a lot of resources and money. Make your parents proud. Make a commitment to learning today and continue to learn. So here is a very interesting 3 by 3 by 3 approach that I'm going to give you, and then I'll end. Can we go to the last slide, please? So this is called intentional learning in life. So now you are starting a new phase of your life. So here is homework for you. Think of 3 goals in next 3 months. Your one goal could be, I want to attend all sessions in orientation. That's a goal. Then make sure you attend it and you learn from it. Your second goal could be, I will connect with 2 professors and ask them questions about subjects. Your third goal could be, I want to make 3 new friends, right? So come up with 3 goals for next 3 months and think about 3 people who can help you achieve those goals. Clear? So all of you promise me that you will sit down today at the end of this session. You'll come up with 3 goals, 3 important activities that you want to do. In next 3 months, you have to complete it, and 3 people who can help you achieve your goal. And then see if you actually do that. And this is called intentional learning. You can't just say, wake up in the morning and say, I want to learn today. That's not enough. You have to plan how you want to learn. How can you get help in that learning? So be very thoughtful, be very structured, and that's where your education institution will give you all the tools, great professors and faculty, great colleagues and friends. Learn from all of them, and I wish you the best, and I wish you life success, and I hope you all become the greatest creators and designers in the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Preeti ma'am. That was a absolute wonderful presentation and talk, and I really enjoyed it. And coupled with your pleasing and very kind personality, it was absolutely a delight to attend. Yeah. So I loved how you said that creative people like chaos. Your ideas and approach to creativity, creativity as chaos, creativity as an impact, creativity as a way of life is refreshing and inspiring. And creativity certainly has the power to affect social change, climate change, human connections, cultural exchange, and add meaning to human life, as you very well illustrated through your presentation. I personally really loved how you spoke about every person being creative in their own way, and also, the importance of celebrating differences, whatever the differences might be, and learning from each other. And for me personally, that resonates with my life mantra, which is celebrate differences. So, yeah. So thank you so much for this very motivational talk in the morning. I'm sure the new students would feel all energized and motivated and try to imbibe your 3 by 3 by 3 exercise. And we would really, really love to have you on campus once you're back in India and things are open. Yeah. And
I have been there once. I came for your design festival that happens,
okay.
a huge conference.
Yes, the Ahmedabad Design Week.
Yes, so I came for that and it was a really great experience. So thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to visiting you all. And I wanted to mention to all students, recently I came across this great new platform called Menza, Mentza. And what they have created is a platform for informal conversations. You know what we call corridor conversation. You meet your professor in the corridor and the most meaningful conversation happens. You meet a friend after a long time in the corridor. So what they have done is you can join a circle, any circle that you want with a theme. So people could be talking about what is the most well-known designer in the world, who is the most well-known designer and why. So that's a conversational group, and you join that. You join a conversational group on what is the difference between India and China, and creativity in China, creativity in India. You can create a circle you want, and it's about 14 minutes conversation that takes place, only 14 minutes. And you meet strangers from all over the world, and you just talk about what do you think on this topic. You can talk about what is non-violence, right? So it's beautiful way of engaging in informal learning through informal conversations with very different people. And then you can have your own audio, and it's audio platform, so you don't even have to worry about sitting in front of Zoom and being presentable. You can just have that and join it. And then they create an audio portfolio for yourself, so you can follow what conversations you have had. You can select quotes from those conversations and repost it. So go, it's a very nice platform, and I think even university can also use it. So that's the power of informal conversations and learning. That's what I wanted to mention.
Thank you so much for letting us know. We'll definitely look up Mensa. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you
And
so much.
I really look forward to meeting you in person soon.
My pleasure. And if anybody has any questions ever, please feel free to write to my office.
Yeah, we will, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
and
you.
making the time for our students today.
Have a great day, everyone, and enjoy your orientation. Bye.
Have a good evening. Bye.